So, do you have any opinions about copyright stuff for Let's Plays?
Yeah. On the one hand, I understand why the creator would want to protect their copyright. Obviously, I'm respectful of that. But at the same time, I think for a lot of games, playing the game is a vastly different experience than watching the game, and Let's Plays often inspire people to play the game. Like, you watch part of a Let's Play and you're like, wow, this game's really cool. I'm gonna play it because it is a different experience, and a lot of people recognize that. Yeah. It's kind of hard because I do understand why you'd not want, because you'd think on some level like people would just end up watching the game and then never playing it.
Right.
But for a lot of people that I know, at least, you watch a Let's Play and you're like, whoa, this game's super cool. I'm gonna tell, like, Erin watched a Let's Play of a game called Cat Lady, I believe.
That was me. I recommended it.
And she recommended it to me, and so that's like on my list of things to play.
You should play it.
So I mean, like, people, I think game companies kind of underestimate, at least, like, I know Nintendo's pretty stringent on the copyright stuff for Let's Plays. So I think they underestimate the word of mouth factor. And also, if you think about it, like, back in, like, the N64, Super Nintendo kind of days, like, you could, like, just give your friend your cartridge and be like, give it back to me later. And so, like, that's one sale that they lost.
Right.
But, so there's a lot of, with changing, like, technology, like, people just can't just give each other
it's a weird
copies.
It's a weird, like, awkward thing that, like, a lot of law people probably wouldn't understand, right?
Yeah, it's shifting, it's changing, and you can't just give someone the cartridge or the disc or whatever anymore. If it's a digital copy, like, you can't just give someone your digital copy. So, like, there's different ways of sharing games, and Let's Plays are kind of like the more modern way of sharing your games with their friends, almost.
Right, but, like, at the same time, like I don't know, like, it just seems like, you're right, the experience would be a lot different. It's just that, like, I think that it should just be considered as free promotion, though.
It's kind of free promotion. I mean, I guess it depends on the game. Like, for example, To the Moon is a game that I think didn't necessarily have to be a game. I think the story's really brilliant.
Right.
And I, Theater Rice did an adaptation of To the Moon.
You did.
And I thought that I could have just watched the adaptation and you really get a sense for what the game is. It's not. Right. It's kind of a non-game game.
Right.
And there are game elements, but, like, I felt like the story was really the main star. So a game like, if you were to watch a Let's Play To the Moon, for example, you wouldn't necessarily have to go and then play the game. It's not.
That's fair.
It's not an entirely different experience. There's like, watching Mario versus playing Mario
is very different. Yeah.
Very different experience. Watching Gone Home versus playing Gone Home, to me,
yeah.
I love Gone Home. I think Gone Home's brilliant.
I can't stop watching people play it.
I think Gone Home is something you have to play for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's about that personal relationship you
have.
Right.
And like, I think it's even more fun watching people play it in front of you.
Because you get to see how they react to it.
Yeah, like, everybody has a different reaction to it.
Because it's a deeply personal game.
Yes, very.
So I guess I think that whoever decides, the lawyers or the marketing people or whoever, the executives who decide whether or not to enforce copyright stuff of Let's Plays, should be aware of what type of game their game is. To the Moon, maybe I would enforce copyright more on that, because I'd be like, you don't really have to, like, if you could watch this game and be satisfied, kind of thing.
Right.
But, like, I'm not going to be satisfied just watching somebody play, BioShock Infinite. I want to play it myself.
Right.
So, in some cases it's free promotion, in some cases it's maybe not the smartest idea for your financial security.
It's just that, like, I think what worries me is that it's going to be hard convincing anybody, like, oh, it's the experience. The experience is different. Like, it's a very, like, vague, like, untangible kind of thing.
Yeah. See, that's what's hard about games, and there's not a whole lot of scholarly literature.
Right.
I mean, people...
Because it's what we were talking about before, right? Like, it's still discounted as, like, this very casual, like, not valuable to society kind of thing.
You can study film in school, but there's no games department kind of thing. It's still the academia around games is still emerging.
So you played a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
So, what kind of games would you like to see being put out on the market?
Games with more minority characters. That's a big deal for me.
Yeah.
I work with someone on the She Attack website who she was really excited about Broken Age because the main character is a woman of color, and she was like, finally a game where the character looks like me, you know. And I thought that's a pretty big deal. Like, when she gets excited about a game simply because it's the only game coming out that has a character that looks like her in it, like that's, you know, something's wrong.
It says something.
You know, something's wrong, you know. So more games with minority characters, because I'm really tired of grizzled white guys.
Right, and I think I want to see that too, and I don't mean it in like I want to make a story about like this person's identity, as per se, like just having something that visually looks like somebody that you can relate to.
Exactly.
Is can be very valuable.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't want a story all about how this person, you know, it doesn't have to be about their identity. It's just like, why is a white guy the default? You know, that's
right. A default. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't like that. There's a default. You know. I also want more variety in female characters. I think female characters come in two groups. There's the manly ladies, not manly like physically, but like they are, you know, unemotional or something. So things that are seen as not feminine qualities, which makes them like good females, you know. And then the decoration. So more variety, and I want to see more women who, you know, who aren't afraid to cry but can kick somebody's ass, or like a woman who...
That's true, there aren't that many women like that.
Yeah, or a woman who isn't conventionally attractive, but is still beautiful in her own way.
Right.
You know, like, I really am sick of the stock female characters, or however, like, male characters come in lots of shapes and sizes, and female characters come in basically one shape. One thing that bothers me about the marketing for Mass Effect is that it's Shepard and Femme Shepard. Whereas like Shepard was considered like here's Shepard, and then over here we have the female version. That's not really like all the marketing featured just the male Shepard.
Yeah.
Without the female Shepard at all.
That was stupid.
Really, really annoying.
I thought it would be so cool if they just had them like back to back, right?
Right. Like, it would be cool if they were both included because they're equals. You know, you can have a choice. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
What were we talking about anyway?
We were talking about what kind of video games you'd like to see.
Oh,
It's relevant. It's relevant.
Just games with, and also just the marketing around games. Tracy, Leon? I don't know how you pronounce the last name. She writes for Polygon. And she wrote an article called No Girls Allowed, and it's this amazing piece. I recommend that everybody read it, about the history of video game advertising and why video games are marketed to men. And it's really, really fascinating, and it's a good read, and it helps you understand why we're where we are
Does she ever
today.
mention Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man?
Yep. So, and that's another thing, Anita Sarkeesian actually did a video on this about the Mrs. Male character, how men are, like, Pac-Man, the male before he was non-gendered, before they made Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man didn't have, Pac-Man, but, like, it wasn't like, it was a game that was pretty available to everybody.
It was like, oh look, here's a woman version.
And then they made a woman version that had makeup and a bow. And the fact that they had to put makeup and a bow on her to make her the female version has perpetuated in games, because a lot of the times the female character will just be a pink version of the male character. And that's her only qualifier. Whereas like men don't have to have a bow tie and a top hat, to be men. That would be equal if like women had, but still, well, there's nothing wrong with bows and makeup. But the fact that men, like Pac-Man is a yellow circle and Miss Pac-Man is a yellow circle with all these female things on it.
Right.
That is saying men are the default and women are the
add-ons.
The add-on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like DLC, which is disgusting.
And everyone hates DLC.
Necromancers for Borderlands 2.
So that's a thing to think about too. Is does your female character, is her personality the fact that she's a woman? And if so, then you need to give her a personality, because being a woman is not a personality trait.
Shit, that's actually really, really smartly put.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I try.
So, besides minorities, do you think there are any other kind of problems with the video game industry right now?
One of the biggest problems right now that people talk about a lot is developers releasing games that... I think language is really important. I think the words that you choose are very important. And so the conversation about sexy female video game characters shouldn't be about her boobs are too big, her butt's too big, her hips are too wide, and her waist is too small. It should be about, is she a complete person? Because if she's just a decoration, that's a problem.
Right.
If she's created simply... there's nothing wrong with being sexy.
That's a fair argument. I was wondering about how to word it.
There's nothing wrong with being sexy, and there's nothing wrong with a person finding a sexy woman sexy.
Right. But
you're human.
If as long as you're being sexy of your own volition. If you're not being put in a weird position about being forced to show your boobs. I don't know what game I'm talking about because I've never played a game where...
I've never played a game where
before, but...
Yeah, there's been forced wear something less... Unless you're talking about an MMO where your armor is itty bitty bikini and it's that's not protecting you at all. But that's clearly for someone's enjoyment.
Right.
But I think the conversation shouldn't be about her body parts are too inappropriate. It should be about what was the intention when they created this character? Did they give her her own personality?
Right.
Did they make her any deeper beyond her? Is she anything beyond the appearance? Because a male character, unless there's satirical situations where it's okay to have kind of stupid characters that have no personality.
Right.
But you really have to think, in your game, are your male characters full, complete people? And are your female characters full? Because if your female characters aren't the same level of completeness that your male characters are,
right, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Okay, so we've been talking for a very long time. Thank you so much for listening to us. Please let us know what you think about all the things that we talked about. And Callie, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this was so much fun.
So much fun.
So much fun.
We talked way too much.
We talked way too fucking much.
I think my voice is gonna be gone.
Yeah, me too. But it was worth it.
That was not on purpose.
Thank God we caught that on camera. Okay, so I'll leave a link to everything that she's talked about in the description and hopefully in forms of annotations too. Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.